Welcome to Deep Roots, Open Skies, a podcast dedicated to exploring the defining moments that shape our lives. I'm your host, Lakisa. Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. I'm your host, Lakisa. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's as sweet and crucial as your morning coffee in a Danish, and just as satisfying, the glorious guilt-free mental health day. We're talking about taking a day off from the grind without feeling like you're going to cause an international crisis, if you know what I mean. Now, let me ask you this. Are you one of those people who feels like the world is going to crumble if you take a day off? Like if you even think about hitting that out of office button, the universe will retaliate with a series of unfortunate events. I get it. Trust me, you're not alone in this. I was a teacher, remember? Taking a sick day felt like a planning wedding time. Lots of prep work, way too much stress, and a nagging feeling that you're come back to chaos. You know, when I was teaching, I thought the world would literally stop spinning if I took a day off. It was like, oh no, the kids will have to find their own way to the bathroom. What if they forget how to read? I mean, can you imagine horror? The sheer thought of leaving my precious classroom in the hands of a substitute was enough to send shivers down my spine. And guess what? They didn't. They survived just fine, and so did I. But let me tell you, the build up to taking that day off was a whole production. I'll spend the entire week before playing out every potential scenario in my head. What if the kids decide to turn the classroom into a karaoke bar? What if they forget their multiplication tables and become math illiterate adults? I'll put together these detailed lesson plans worthy of an Oscar nomination, complete with notes for the sub that read like a survival guide. I mean, these were script notes. And let's not even talk about the guilt. The moment I'll think about calling in sick, I'll feel a wave of shame wash over me. How dare I take a day to rest when there's a world of learning to be done? I'll convince myself that my absence would somehow ruin the delicate balance of the universe. I even start mentally calculating how many hours of planning I had to do just to justify that day off. It felt like preparing for a space launch. I remember one time I finally mustered up the courage to take a mental health day. Of course, it was a major crisis moment. I had a cold that felt like it was trying to take me out of the game for good. So I called my principal, ready for battle. I was like, I'm not feeling well, and I need to take today off. I have expected him to start a campaign to keep me at school. But here's what happened. I actually took the day off. I curled up in my favorite blanket, made some hot tea, and slept on a show I thought I was going to watch that I had been dying to catch up on. And you know what? The world didn't end. The kids didn't forget how to read. The parents didn't bomb me with why. They were just fine. And I came back feeling rejuvenated and ready to tackle the rest of the school year and the day. Taking that day off taught me that self-care isn't just a buzzword. It's a necessity. It's about recognizing that you're human and that even superheroes need to recharge their batteries. We're conditioned to hustle, to grind, to be on all the time. But what does that really do for us? It leads to burnout, exhaustion, and a whole lot of resentment. And let's be honest, do we want to be those people who are too afraid to take a break? No way. So when that guilt creeps in, remember this. You are allowed to take a mental health day. You are allowed to prioritize your well-being without feeling like you're letting the world down. So let's dive deeper into why taking a mental health day is essential and how we can make it work for us guilt-free. I promise you, it's not just about escaping work. It's about returning to it refreshed and ready to rock. Isn't that how we want to be? So today, let's look into this whole mental health day conundrum. Why do we feel so guilty about taking a break? And why is it absolutely necessary? My mom, who's a retired teacher, always said, "Honey, if you die, they'll have a replacement for you tomorrow." And while that sounds a bit in your face, it's also a reality check. Life goes on. So why not take a day for yourself before you hit that point of burnout? Let me share a little story from my own life. My first few years of teaching, I didn't take a single day off. I was young, eager, and probably a bit naive, fueled by a sense of idealism that told me showing up every day was the ultimate proof of my dedication. I thought if I didn't show up every day, my students would forget my name or worse, think I wasn't committed. It was like I was stuck in this bizarre competition with myself, where the prize was an imaginary trophy for most devoted teacher. I remember waking up each morning groggy and still half asleep, but I'll throw on my trusty teacher uniform, the classic cardigan, and sensible shoes, because I believed that every day I was in that classroom, I was shaping young minds. I thought if I wasn't there, who would be? What if a student needed help with math or had a meltdown over a lost pencil? I was convinced my absence would send the whole classroom into chaos. But guess what? I didn't have any health issues or personal drama during that time. I was just working myself into the ground for what? To prove I was a great teacher? Looking back, it feels almost ridiculous. I was pouring my heart and soul into my job, sacrificing my well-being for a job that, in the grand scheme of things, would keep running without me for a day. I was so focused on being the perfect teacher that I forgot to take care of the most important person in the equation, myself. Here's the kicker. I didn't realize that by neglecting my own mental health, I was setting myself up for a major burnout. It was like I was running a marathon without ever training. Eventually, my body and mind said, enough. And trust me, when you hit that wall, it's not pretty. You're left feeling exhausted, unproductive. And as I mentioned, let's be honest, kind of resentful. So day after day, I dragged myself to work, feeling like a puppet on strings, just going through the motions, while my passion slowly faded away. And you've been there, I'm sure. I became that person who was physically present, but mentally checked out. And it was heartbreaking to watch my enthusiasm drain away like water through a sieve. You know that feeling when you realize you've been running on empty. It's like driving your car on fumes, thinking you can make it to the next gas station, but instead you end up stuck on the side of the road. That's where I found myself, stuck, frustrated, and questioning everything. I had to come to the terms with the fact that taking care of my mental health wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. And that realization was the first step toward reclaiming my joy in working. So let's talk about how to take back your power and embrace those mental health days. Here are some tips to help you ease into it. Schedule it. Just like you would schedule a meeting or a dentist appointment, schedule your mental health day. Make it a part of your routine. You know you need it. So treat it like a sacred date with yourself. Then communicate. If you're in a workplace that allows for it, let your boss know you're taking a mental health day. You don't need to give them a full backstory. Just say you need a personal day. Most employers will respect that. Work to set boundaries. Make sure to turn off your work email and put your phone on Do Not Disturb. This is your day and you deserve to unplug. Try to plan activities. Now here comes the fun part. What can you do on your mental health day? Here are some peaceful ideas to help you recharge. You can take a long walk in nature. There's something about being outside that resets your mind. Treat yourself to a spa day at home. Think bubble baths, face masks, and your favorite book. Try a new hobby. Always wanted to paint? Give it a go. Meditate or practice yoga. Find your zen and just breathe. Or you're feeling wild? Watch that movie while snugged up in your pajamas with a giant bowl of popcorn. No judgment here. And let's be real, you're not going to solve the world's problems in a day. And you definitely won't be winning a Nobel Prize for your dedication to work. Sometimes it's about taking a step back and recharging so you can come back stronger. I mean, let's face it. While you might think that if you don't show up, everything will fall apart, the truth is that the world is a lot more resilient than we give it credit for. Your colleagues or your team will manage just fine without you for a day. And sometimes it's about taking a step back and recharging so you can come back stronger, sharper, and ready to tackle whatever challenges life throws your way. And think about it this way also. When your phone battery is running low, what do? You plug it in and give it time to recharge, right? Well, guess what? You're no different. We're no different. Your mind and body need that same kind of care. If you're feeling that nagging guilt about taking a mental health day, remember, you're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing it for everyone around you. A healthy, happy you means a more productive you. You'll be more creative, more engaged, and more present. And who doesn't want that? Plus, let's not forget about the ripple effect. When you take care of yourself, you set the tone for those around you. You're sending a message that it's okay to prioritize mental health, and that's a powerful thing. Your coworkers might look at you and think, if they can take a break and recharge, maybe I can too. You're not just taking a day off, you're leading by example. That's it for today's episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. I hope you feel empowered to take that well-deserved mental health day. Remember, the world will keep spinning, and you deserve to take a break without guilt. Until next time, take care of yourself. And don't forget to prioritize your mental wellness. Catch you later. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. Until next time, embrace your journey and keep exploring the possibilities.